Hello, my name is Haley Smith, and the country that I have chosen to present on is Scotland. Located in the Midwest of Europe, Scotland is a part of the United Kingdom. It shares a border with England to the south, and it has around 800 small islands surrounding it. At first, Scotland was an independent sovereign state, meaning that it was represented by one centralized government that had complete power in that area. In 1603, James VI of Scotland became king and united with England and Ireland, which formed a personal union. In 1707, Scotland entered a political union with the Kingdom of Great Britain. The legal system in Scotland is called Scots law. It is mixed and contains both civil law and common law. It is one of 3 legal systems in the UK. Like most places, it originally had different legal traditions due to the mix of various cultural groups that inhabited the country, which were mainly the Gaels, the Britons, and the Anglo-Saxons. The introduction of feudalism from the 12th century and the expansion of the Kingdom of Scotland helped influence modern law that we see today. The creation of the Kingdom of Great Britain resulted in the Parliament of Scotland and the Parliament of England being succeeded, resulting in a Parliament of Great Britain. In 1997, the Scottish Parliament was re-established in the form of a developed unicameral legislature. Scotland is represented in the United Kingdom Parliament by 59 members. Scotland was an independent kingdom through the Middle Ages and won multiple wars of independence against England. They then joined a political union with England. Scottish independence referendums have been held in the past. However, in the recent 2014 referendum, the No campaign had more votes than the Yes campaign, with 55% of the votes voting no and 45% of the votes voting yes. The economic system in Scotland is essentially a mixed economy and is very diverse. It tends to lean more towards a socialist system. It is closely linked to that of the rest of Europe. Scotland has the 3rd largest GDP per capita in the UK. They use the pound sterling as their currency. Scotland has tariff-free trade. The European Union and the United States have the largest markets for Scotland's exports. Those exports mainly consist of fish, beef and lamb, Scotch whiskey, and timber. Scotland's imports mainly consist of manufactured goods, tobacco, beverages, machinery, and fuel. Scotland has very free press due to the Human Rights Act. It mimics the rights of the United Kingdom. Scotland does not restrict internet access or online publishing. There is access to plenty of foreign media. The Scottish government is headed by a First Minister. The First Minister is elected every 4 years. The current one is Nicola Sturgeon, who has been elected since 2014. The head of state is the British monarch, who is currently Queen Elizabeth II, who took the throne in 1952. There are various electoral systems in Scotland. The first past the post system is used for the UK general election. The additional member system is used for elections in the Scottish Parliament. Finally, the single transferable vote system is used to elect local council. People aged 16 or older can vote. There are even some cases where 14 and 15-year-olds can vote. Judges in Scotland are called sheriffs. There are multiple types of courts. At the top is the Supreme Court, which consists of the High Court of Judiciary and the Court of Session. The High Court deals with the most serious criminal cases, and the decisions are made by a jury. There is no limit on prison time or fines in the High Court. The Court of Sessions deals with civil business. The Procurator of Fiscal decides where certain criminal cases will be prosecuted. Sheriff courts have 2 different procedures in them. There is a solemn procedure where a jury can decide up to 5 years of imprisonment, and a summary procedure where a sheriff can decide up to 1 year of imprisonment. Finally, there is the Justice of Peace Courts, where people do not need a legal background and can decide up to 60 days of imprisonment. In order to become a judge in Scotland, you have to be a citizen of the UK or Republic of Ireland. You must have a relevant legal qualification for 5 years. It is very common for solicitors and barristers to apply to be a part-time judge before they apply to become a full-time judge in order to build up expertise. This usually involves carrying out the same responsibilities as a full-time judge, but dealing with less complex cases. After applying, the Judicial Appointments Board of Scotland handles these applications and makes recommendations to the First Minister. The First Minister then consults the Lord President and then makes a recommendation to the Queen. The Queen then appoints a judge. Judges make sure that the hearing is fair and make sure that the questioning is appropriate and that all of the issues are covered. There are 4 main legal professions in Scotland, not including a judge. There's a solicitor, an advocate, which can also be called a barrister, a paralegal, or a legal secretary. Solicitors work in private firms and deal with clients' legal problems. Being an advocate involves advising clients on aspects of litigation. A paralegal undertakes legal work based on what their educational background and training is. A legal secretary helps run a legal service or law firm by providing administrative support to legal executives. Tourism accounts for a total of 5% of Scotland's GDP. When it comes to tourists and visitors, Scotland is extremely friendly and a great tourist destination. There is no visa required to visit. There are many sightseeing spots around the country, such as Edinburgh Castle, Loch Ness, Loch Lomond, and more. If you are not for sightseeing, there are plenty of pubs around the country to spend your time in. Thank you very much for listening to my presentation on Scotland. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to email me.